Hey there, welcome back to Reddit Infidelity Stories channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. For more interesting stories, these simple click means a lot feature of this channel.
I caught my fiancé having sex in our home with a married doctor at the hospital I work at. They don't know about it, and I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm a ticking time bomb that is about to detonate and murder two people at the same moment right now. I'm at a loss on what to do. I'm completely perplexed. I'm really baffled as to how any of this happened. They aren't aware of it yet, and I'm not sure how I should go in this situation. We're both very loving and affectionate, and the is usually fantastic. We both have decent careers, and money isn't an issue for us. We have enough of extra money to spend. We spend a lot of time with one another and haven't had any major arguments in a long time. I thought that any major problems we had been resolved a long time ago. Until now, there have been no issues. Today got off to a fantastic start. It was 7 this morning when we first woke up. We hugged before getting out of bed, and I cooked us breakfast before starting my regular 12-hour shift. I work as a nurse. We had a good laugh at some of the things that were going on between our wild families. Everything appeared to be in order. As a matter of fact, it was so good that I had one of those days where I went insane just thinking about her, and I missed her tremendously. As if it were a sign, my supervisor let me off early because of how hard I'd been working lately, 60+ hour weeks for the past 3 weeks, on top of school. It felt like a sign. As I was traveling home today, I was giddy with anticipation at the prospect of seeing her. She had the day off. Until I went to my place, that is. I'm good friends with one of the physicians at the hospital, and his automobile was the first thing I noticed when I saw it. I had never considered the notion of her having an affair with someone else. It had never occurred to me that it was even a possibility. We were too near to everything, and everything appeared to be too flawless. For the first time in our relationship, I was wary of what was happening. I had assumed she just knew him since he had come to see me at work during a break. It's possible that she met him twice when we were out at the bar on different occasions. Well, I was already skeptical, so I parked down the street and silently strolled in the front door, up the stairs, and into the house. Because she is typically quite boisterous in bed, the fact that it was silent helped me to relax a little. When I peered into the bedroom door, which was half open, and saw them doing it facing away from me, all of my feelings of serenity were shattered. As soon as I regained consciousness, I ran out the door, trying not to make a sound. It felt like I had been immobile for an eternity. As soon as I regained consciousness, I ran out the door. I quickly called one of my coworkers and drove over to her house, where I'm currently typing this up. The fact that she and him don't use Reddit indicates that this isn't some arbitrary aside. All of this occurred approximately 4 hours ago. I haven't gotten any texts or phone calls, therefore, I don't believe they were aware of my departure. Whenever I approach them, I have the feeling that I will kill him and yell at her, throw her out without any of her junk, and leave them for dead, especially considering that her family and good friends are on opposite sides of the nation. I'm very sure the doctor is married, so the idea of him taking her home is out of the question, and I'm pretty sure I'll out him anyhow and try to ruin his reputation in the process. I'm beginning to think I despise her. I can't believe that any of this is occurring at this point. I'm looking for advice. Should I confront them both about it and end the relationship? Or just cut it off completely with no more contact? Nothing I say or do will make her believe that I will ever take her back. My name is on the deed to the house and everything in it. Again, I apologize for the lengthy post. The fact that I'm not feeling well right now results in a lot of rambling and awful musings. Update. Sorry for the length of this post compared to my previous one. It's also a little later than I had anticipated when it came to providing an update. I'm not going to go into detail about anything from my prior blog article. It's all in the link, believe it or not. I'm going to make an effort to just share important information, in order to keep it brief. Nobody wants to listen to a bunch of idiots babbling on and on. I'm going to be completely honest with you, I don't recall half of what happened that day. To put it another way, I can't recall the last time I did anything, and just vaguely recall the individuals I spoke with. And I'm fucking glad I don't have one. This has been one of the most difficult days of my life. I'm merely going here to air my grievances about the world. After I left the original post, I went to the bank and took everything from our joint account, after which I had the account cancelled by the bank manager. Instead of the national bank where we were previously enrolled, we opened a new account at a credit union. I'm going to consult with an attorney about this tomorrow. After I finished writing this, I took a break to cry and punch my steering wheel and dashboard. It was a pleasant sensation. As I drove away from the house, I thought about reporting the piece of my fiancé to Human Resources for the day. I inquired as to whether he was present. He was, so I avoided him. I'm putting him aside for later. It was said that she had rushed in the night before, distraught and screaming, believing that I had died or was in serious danger of dying. It took everything in my power to keep the events of the day from being brought to my attention. I had a strong desire to expose him. I'm starting to think I should have. But I'm going to save him. I'm going to go and fetch him later on today. The employer who gave me permission to leave early was completely unaware of what was going on. If he does, he will not acknowledge it. In an attempt to avoid disclosing what had transpired, I asked him a question. Either he's incredibly excellent at being clueless, or he thinks I'm an idiot at the moment. I got out of work and went to the piece of doctor's place. I was a mess. I wasn't aware that school had ended yet. She was nowhere to be found. I waited 5 minutes before becoming paranoid. This is a lovely area with neighbors who undoubtedly chat a lot. I'm sure I'm already on someone's watch list. I got up and left. As a result, I returned to my house. I still had a couple of hours until my fiancé arrived home, so I decided to check my phone for any messages. Since last night, she has sent over 50 texts and made 12 missed phone calls, all on her own dime. To put it simply, she went completely insane some time after I had disappeared. I asked my buddy whose house I stayed at to play stupid if anyone got in touch with her since I felt like I could trust her, and it turns out that I was right about that. I read everything and listened to every phone, text message, and every word that was sent to me. I couldn't stop myself from thinking, close your mouth, you lying, you don't care about me, so shut the following each and every word she said. The pattern continued to repeat itself. I ultimately gave up and went upstairs to play StarCraft for a while. I drank a few beers and then went downstairs again. Update Reddit was something that never occurred to me. Sorry, it's been a long and arduous day. I had grown tired, or maybe angry, of losing. I had played 2 games and had turned the game off. I didn't want to text anyone and tell them I was fine because I was afraid they would tell my mother I was fine. As a result, I just cracked. Using our AITA and Reddit account, I accessed her text and call history, which I found to be quite interesting. Wow. This month, over 6,000 SMS were sent. 6,000. Only 250 of those belong to me. Guess how many of them went to approximately 4,000 people? This is beyond my comprehension. How is this even possible? And who are the other 2 numbers in the vicinity of 500 that I am not familiar with? What the is going on? Yes, I have unlimited texting, but what the is wrong with me? For her, phone calls were nothing out of the ordinary. I'm simply obsessed over the fact that there are so many texts, which is just ridiculous. I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. That was the last of my self-control. I opened her email and, look, there it was. From Doctor, we have received a few interesting emails. Allow me to simply forward them on to everyone who is interested in this situation. Yay! I flung my phone against the wall, causing a large dent in the wall, as well as a completely smashed screen on my phone. That was sort of the gist of the concept. I didn't stop drinking. I couldn't stop getting enraged. Despite the fact that I was losing, I continued to play StarCraft. She hadn't returned home by 4:30 p.m. No way, not at 5 p.m. After that, I had a brief period of unconsciousness. I hadn't gotten any sleep in over a week. I'm not sure, but it's been a long time. I had gotten up at 5 a.m. the day before, so I had slept for approximately 1,000,000 hours. When I returned a short while later, she was sitting at the foot of the bed reading. I couldn't tell you how long it had been because I was still inebriated. As far as I recall, our dialogue went something like this. At this point, I stopped allowing her to speak and simply yelled over her head. I didn't allow her to say anything. I confronted her and screamed in her face, accusing her of everything I could think of. I had the option of punching her in the face, which I did not. The most of what I shouted was lost in my recollection, but she eventually rushed out the door crying, and I hurled one of the stones from our porch at her car as she drove away from the house. Since then, I have not heard from her. It was only an hour or so ago that this occurred. The likelihood of me posting an update on this is uncertain. Now that she's gone, I'm feeling a lot better. At this point, I'm sobbing uncontrollably while I type, pausing every now and then to catch my breath. I'm in a bad way right now. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with myself from here on out. 7 years of my life were squandered with her. I could have spent that time with a more suitable companion. Effort that went to waste. What a massive waste of time. I'm finished. I'm fully and utterly up. We've decided to close our joint account. In retrospect, it appears that this was undoubtedly against the law. Still don't give a damn. I got in touch with human resources. Because the boss didn't know anything about it, or so he claims, it was simply a matter of chance. I was apprehensive about telling the doctor's wife. Uncovering an extensive exchange of text messages between my fiancée and a cheating doctor, I hacked her email account and emailed all of the messages between them to everyone who was relevant to our life. Yelling at her, I woke up and saw her at the foot of the bed. I dragged her out of the apartment screaming at her. This is a load of trash.
Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel.